In this lesson, we're going to study the song Für Elise by Beethoven, and we're going to play in the key of D minor. So if you hold down a D minor chord, we're going to move also to an A chord. So the first thing you can start to do is get the feel for those two chords. Remember how to play a D minor chord. It is second fret of the lowest two strings, then first finger goes on the first fret of the second string. Then we're just going to switch fingers, leave the second finger down and go to your first finger now on the C sharp, the first fret of the third string. And we're going to play this really lovely, it's such a beautiful melody, of course, originally played on solo piano. And originally key of A minor, but we're changing key to fit in the ukulele with the low G tuning. And we're going to play across the top two strings, doing this very famous line of going from, in this case, an A to a G sharp. The high string open with your middle finger in the right hand to the fourth fret G sharp of the second string with your pinky. So just try to go back and forth between those two notes. You can let them ring together. Just leave the pressure down with your pinky. You don't have to release it every time. You let the notes blend together. You do that twice, and then you release and play the open string. Then we're going to use our third finger on a G natural. Then we fall right into that D minor chord. Third finger to first. Then we're going to get into this arpeggio pattern that's very important for this song. And there are a few different ways that we could play this with the right hand. I want to focus on reserving the thumb playing across the third and the fourth string, then index on the second string and middle finger in the right hand on the high string. So let's try that pattern a few times. Hold down the D minor chord, and I want you to play 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, then 3 with your thumb. So thumb, 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 index, middle, thumb. Strings once again are 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, then to 3. See if you can start to do that in time. So 1 and 2 and 3 and. We're in 3/4 time here. We start the song on beat 3. So there's an anacrusis or a pickup. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So those are the first two complete measures with that pickup. So the first step is just trying to get that connection to ring beautifully with lots of sustain into this D minor chord. When that feels comfortable, then we switch to the A chord like we practiced in the very beginning, and we're going to play a similar arpeggio. We're going to start now with our index finger on the second string open, then thumb, thumb, index, middle, index. Strings are 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. Repeat that a few times. Now if you put the second and third measure together, this is great to practice. Just loop those two measures and try to get it to that tempo. Let's try it together very slowly. Ready, play. 1, 2, 3, switch, 2, 3. Switch back, D minor. We're just looping those two measures. Then A, switch. This is a great arpeggio pattern to practice. And really nice for the thumb to play across those two lower strings. Now then it goes back in measure 4 to the D minor chord, right into that phrase like we did for the opening. The 0 to 4, from the high string open A to the G sharp. Then just right back like we did before, exactly the same. switch. Then in measure 7, we do a descending line that's a little bit different over the A chord. It goes 2nd string, 4th, 3rd, then we play 3 notes in a row by alternating index, middle, index in the right hand. We play an E, F, E, 0, 1, 0, and then arpeggiate with a thumb. That gets us through the first phrase, and if you look at the music, you'll notice that in measure 8, there is a repeat sign there, and there's a first ending. Play that measure, you see the repeat sign, you go back to the first complete measure where the repeat sign is facing the opposite direction, and then play through again. Right when you get to the end of measure 7, instead of playing that first ending, we're going to jump to the second ending, and that's going to get us to the second half of the piece. So let's take a look at the first half again, and let's try to play it up to that point where we go to the second ending. So we're going to do the repeat, and we're going to start with the pickup note. 1, 2, play. Thumb plays all these notes on the 4th and 3rd string. Back to the G minor chord. Let these 2 notes ring together. Alternate fingers on the 2nd string there. Measure 7. Alternate on the 2nd string again. Thumb, thumb, thumb. Repeat. Back to that first measure, right? And then we play the A chord. Measure 4, back to D minor. The cross strings. Alternate. D minor. Measure 7. Then the second ending. And there's a lead-in into the second half of the piece. And having nice sustain. All these notes, if you look at the sheet music, they're just written as 8th notes, but a common thing that we do when playing the ukulele is we let the notes ring. So you hear a full chord when I do the D minor chord, for example, in the second measure. Instead of releasing each one of those notes, you just naturally let everything ring, and so there's a lot of overlap. Now let's take a look at the second half of the piece. When we have this nice second ending in measure 9, we're doing our D minor chord again, but now we're going to do a nice scale up E, F, and then G. You could use your pinky on the G or the 3rd finger. If you're going to let the note sustain, pinky would be a good choice. And then we're going to go into measure 10. We're going to play a crescendo. We've been playing at a soft volume. We're going to pick up a little bit of intensity and volume here in measure 10. We're going to play an F chord. The same concept of arpeggio. We're going to use our middle finger on the high string, then index finger on the 2nd, then thumb travels between the 3rd and the 4th string. So in measure 10, the strings are 1, 4, 3, 2. Then we need to play 2 notes. So you're going to release your 2nd finger, move it up to the high string played, a B flat to an A. We get this. So you have to let go of this 2nd fret of the 4th string. You can leave your 1st finger down. Leaving that down is great because in the next measure we're going to move it up 2 frets. The whole hand with a thumb shifts right up to 3rd position. And we're going to play a version of a C chord here. It's actually got a C chord, then it's got an A on top. We call it a C6. So you hold down the 5th fret, 4th, 3rd, and then the high string open. 3, 2, 1 with the left hand. We arpeggiate. Then move right back down to our D minor chord. Then we're going to use our pinky to play G, F, and then we're going to play E. So let's look at that. The pickup again, going into measure 10. Here comes that F chord, arpeggiate, move the 2nd finger, guide finger up with the 1st finger, arpeggiate, back down, arpeggiate, then pinky plays 3rd fret to 1st, then open. Let's try that together, right from measure 9. Ready, and play, and 2. Louder. strong. Really feel your right hand weighing into the strings so you get a nice, good volume there. Then at measure 13, there's a very famous repetition of notes in different octaves. It's a great part of this piece, and we're going to play the note A all over the place. So first we're going to play the beginning of the measure. We're coming down to that E note. Our second finger is going to play the low A on the second fret of the fourth string with the thumb. Middle finger then plays the high string open A, then back to the thumb, back to the middle finger. When you play that open string, you're going to jump up with your left hand up to a higher position. And the trick here is that your eyes are going to find the 9th fret on the 3rd string, that 9th position, before you're moving. So you're playing an open string, you have this time right when you play this note to make eye contact with that higher fret. That'll help you to get there in time and find that 9th fret of the 3rd string. There's another A. Up to your pinky, playing the 12th fret of the high string. That's a high A. Then we do that twice in measure 14. We've suddenly got softer here. And then back down to the open string to the 2nd fret. Then we're going to start our original line again. So measure 13 and 14 are very interesting. Eyes up ahead, shift. I'm just using second finger and thumb, then back down. Now you can take some liberties with the tempo here. Instead of playing this right in time, you can actually, we have a lot of build-up coming into this. So it's fast, less, less, less. Then we extend our first phrase. Then it moves back into tempo. So it's a really good exercise in doing a rallentando, very free, then playing what we call rubato, out of time, then falling gradually, moving your way back into that original tempo. A little bit faster, a little faster, then we're in tempo. Just like before. And this now is exactly what we played before. It's the first theme again, which makes it easy. Then the ending in measure 23, instead of just playing this A, or the D, I'm sorry, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, we're going to play it up 7th fret. So then we can do a nice D minor chord up above. We're going to bar 3 frets, or 3 strings at the 5th fret, and then put your 3rd finger down on the 7th fret of the 4th string. That's a really nice bar chord position for a D minor chord. See if you can figure that out with your first finger right up against the fret wire, the 5th fret. Only 3 strings, not 4, but 3. Make sure your thumb's not back here up too high. It's in front of the index finger, just slightly, right around the 6th fret. Then you put your 3rd finger nice and curved, not stretching up to the note, but nice and forward with your hand this way. Then you should be able to get that D minor chord to sing beautifully. So measure 22, going there. Notice how, like we did an earlier position change, an open string is there to help you have sustain as your hand moves. I play this F, then open E, 2nd string. That note's ringing while my hand moves to find the 7th fret, and then I play the chord up above. And I like to do that chord with index, middle, and ring finger in the right hand. So that is Für Elise by Beethoven. Work on the first section, get that under your fingers with a repeat, and then move on to the second section. Spend a lot of time on that transition at measure 13, 14, and 15, going back into the first theme idea again that happens at measure 16. Then finally, check out that bar chord that we just looked at the very end and get comfortable playing a nice D minor chord in 5th position.